what is the best first-round matchup for the Lakers?
Okay, let me qualify this because I feel like every day I'm saying something against the Sac Kings. I don't. It's not a commentary on the city of Sacramento, the quality of the Kings fans, the job that Mike Brown has done as head coach, the great season that Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox have had. But the teams in the West look at the Kings as the team that can be upset and be beaten because, number one, they haven't done it before, and number two, because they have a weak defense. They have an awesome offense, but a weak defense. And in the playoffs, all the playoffs that LeBron has seen, all the playoffs that Curry and Draymond and Clay have seen, all the playoffs that Kawhi has seen, they know that offense comes down and defense goes up. So if you're the Lakers, if you can crawl the sixth, which not only avoids the play-in, but gets you into a situation with the Kings where it's short travel, you stay in California. I know that the Kings fans are rabid and they will be at those playoff games, but you know there will be Laker fans in that building. And so that's what the Lakers would like to do. They have a chance tomorrow to do something they haven't done in 14 months, and that's get over 500. And if they win that game against Minnesota, who's right in front of them in the standings, they can leapfrog them, and that could be a big step forward as they are on this road trip trying to fight for positioning.
Before I answer the question, I want to say something because I feel like every day there has been people at the network, and myself included, we've talked about all the things that Anthony Davis doesn't do. So with that being said, it's time to talk about what Anthony Davis has done. Anthony Davis has been an absolute monster since LeBron James has been out. A monster. And it's time to start talking about how the narrative needs to be changed around his performance. Let me give you a couple of different things, okay? Last night, obviously, he had 38 points, 10 rebounds. He's been averaging 26 points per game. It's the most he's averaged since his first season with the Lakers. Field goal percentage, 57.6, best of his career. Rebounds per game, 12.4, best of his career. Effective field goal percentage, 57.6, best of his career. His shot diet, people talking about him always fading away from the basket, him taking a lot of threes. Oh, okay, second best average of his career, 48% around the rim. And by the way, when he's on the floor, defensive rating, 109.1 for the team. They are the best defensive team since the trade deadline, okay? So I just want to state that because Anthony Davis has been putting in the work. Now, you can question on whether he wants to play back-to-backs. We'll get a chance to see that, Wendy, in their last 6 games because they have one last
no
back-to-back.
back-to-backs in the playoffs.
Got to play this right now in order to get in. I don't want to hear anything about him not playing the back-to-back. Now he has to play, but he's been a monster. Just want to give him credit. Now on the team, I hear you on the Kings. I do. And we'll see if the Warriors are willing to give up that 6th seed right now. They play against the Spurs, then they play against, they have a couple more games against the Nuggets, the Thunder, Kings. They'll play in that matchup. It'll be interesting to see. As much as I like them and their style of playing, and I know that they've done well without Ja Morant in the lineup, there is an interesting matchup I do feel that if they were to get to the 7th seed, that I don't think they would mind. It would still be a challenge. But I have questions about Memphis, Wendy, in the half court. I really do. I know Dillon Brooks at times has a personality that can rub people the wrong way. I know there are times where he can get outside of himself. Obviously, one of the leaders in the league in technical fouls that can be used against him. But when I hear other assistant coaches throughout the league talk about how they would scout against him, you're going to have somebody, whenever they're involved in side pick and rolls, if Dillon Brooks is on the court and he's on that weak side, they're going to want him to shoot the ball. They're going to sag and really smash the paint and force Ja Morant to beat them from the outside. And that weak side defender that Dillon Brooks is being guarded by, he's not going to worry about Dillon Brooks. And they're going to go under those ball screens. You know, Ja Morant on pull-up Jays off the three-point line is shooting something like 36, 35%. And this team is not the same three-point shooting team they were last year. So if you're going to stay hugged tight to Desmond Bane, and if you're going to play off that, Ja Morant's going to have to find ways to make shots over the top. So I think that's going to be a problem for them.
Who do you think is going to win MVP?
Who do I think is going to win, or who do I think should win? Two different questions. I think Joel Embiid is going to win. I think there is a sentiment, and he's had a spectacular year, and he's deserving of winning. I'm not saying he's not. But I think there is a sentiment around Giannis winning it back-to-back, Jokic winning it back-to-back. I do not know how we went from a space where the Joker was winning it hands down, it was over, his third MVP in a row, to all of a sudden them going on a losing 5 or 7 game skid, and him still putting up the same numbers. To all of a sudden Joel Embiid had a lead. That's a little bit shocking to me. I think it was almost like a market correction to the first straw poll that came out from Bontemps. But who do I think should win it is Giannis. I really do. Look, they have the best record in the NBA. Chris Middleton has played 30 games. Through January 23rd, I mean, they're 25-3. And when you look at the entire body of work, a guy who's there each and every day, playing, doing it on the defensive side of the ball, doing it on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, last night we talked about this too, Wendy. Nobody talked about Jrue Holiday having 51 points. Giannis had a 38-point triple-double. Right? It was almost like, oh, that's just Giannis being Giannis. Like, he is an unstoppable force who brings it each and every single day. So I think there is a little bit of, voter fatigue around Giannis and Jokic, in particular with Giannis, because we're used to seeing him put up these types of numbers. But the most unstoppable force in the game of basketball is Giannis right now, and I think it gets overlooked. And I think he should win. Do I think he will? No, but I think he should.
I am a voter, and I did vote in this straw poll, and my vote in this straw poll was the same as it was in the last straw poll that Tim did in the All-Star break, and that was for Giannis. I was one of the 18 voters who voted for Giannis. And by the way, real quick, the reason that this poll that Bontemps does is so valuable is this surveys the likely 100 voters, all 28 markets, international voters, broadcasters, writers. This is a representative. This isn't a sample. This is like the real thing. And so when this is a dead heat, it honestly could go either way. If I had not voted for Giannis in this poll and I had voted for Jokic instead, Jokic would be in first. That's how close it was. If any of us changed just our vote. In fact, if I had changed who I had 2 and 3, it would have changed that. Just me, one of the 100 voters. So the point here is, I think the headline is that we got 10 days left and we're not going to know. We don't know. And when the season ends, we're going to have to wait until the vote comes out to know. We're not going to know. Most years it's just like, okay, we know who won. It's just a matter of, are they going to win this Tuesday or are they going to win next Wednesday? When are they going to do the press conference? We're not going to know. There's going to be genuine drama. And so I think that is just interesting in the fact that while we're going to watch the last 10 days of the season. But my thing, Jay, as I was examining this vote, is Embiid has been so awesome the last 6 weeks, and Philly has been just really making a great push. But I asked myself, why should I change my vote? Why should I have changed my vote from Giannis? And my reason I've gone with Giannis in these straw polls and where I'm leaning to with my official vote is because of the dominance at both ends of the court. And again, when you applaud someone's effort, it doesn't mean putting down the other people. I know that happens. Last year I voted for Embiid. It did not mean I didn't respect the incredible year that Jokic had. But I was very impressed with Embiid, and Embiid probably didn't win last year in large part because he didn't play as many games, whereas Jokic has been an absolute iron horse. He just missed a game this week, which was surprising because he just always plays. And for some people, availability is a huge factor. I've gotten into arguments with this, I'm not, good-natured arguments with my brethren who were like, how can you vote for Embiid when Embiid plays 60 whatever game and Jokic plays 80? How can you possibly compare those? And to me, that's not as important. To me, there are other things that are important. To me, both ends of the court are important. And when you watch the Bucks play, especially at the end of close games, Giannis just becomes an all-encompassing monster.
He's everywhere.
His arms are all over the place. He's stepping on top of everybody. And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.